Faker has had a rough week. Footage emerged last weekend of him repeatedly headbutting a wall after a loss to Gen.G, and then earlier this week, T1 confirmed that Faker had come down with COVID. This comes after a year of extreme highs and lows for him, and with a place at Worlds still on the line for T1, concerned fans are wondering if there's simply too much pressure on the League of Legends GOAT. So the LCK summer season has been all about Gen.G. They're currently sitting on a 15-win, 0-defeat record going into the final 3 matches. And in fact, they've only dropped a single game across all those matches, sitting at an astounding record of 30-game wins to 1 defeat. They're on track for the perfect split, a feat only ever achieved a single time in LCK history by T1 back in spring 2022. T1, on the other hand, have been decidedly average. Going into their game against Gen.G last Saturday, they were sitting on 8 wins and 5 defeats and had 3 teams breathing down their necks in the fight for the final playoff spots. It was not where the current reigning world champions would have liked to be, and now they had to face Gen.G, their old rival who look truly unstoppable. Game 1 started off relatively tight, with T1 edging out a slight gold and kill lead over Gen.G, but cracks began to appear in the mid-game. Faker started to make some uncharacteristic mistakes, including missing a Corki Valkyrie over a wall to clean up Gen.G after a team fight. Despite a growing gold lead for T1, Faker getting picked off at key moments contributed to Gen.G being able to stall and then slowly claw their way back into the game. T1 went on to lose that game, which really looked like it was in their hands, and game 2 wasn't even close. Gen.G got ahead early and stayed ahead. At 31 minutes, a Baroned up Gen.G were facing down T1's base. It was almost the exact same position we'd seen T1 and Faker in before when he pulled off an insane Azir shuffle on Ruler at Worlds last year. Faker needed that same kind of magic again to save the game, but lightning didn't strike twice.
Aya gets engaged on, there's the Featherstorm, that's early as now the hands. Faker looking for it, just going on a crazy re-sway, I don't even know what that was.
T1 lost the game and the series, a blow to their plans to create a bit of distance between themselves and the chasing LCK pack. After the game, footage emerged which appeared to show T1 in a huddle between the 2 games, and the cameras caught some concerning behavior from Faker as he repeatedly banged his head against a nearby wall in frustration. It really was a sad thing for everyone to see. We've seen Faker get really frustrated in the past, we've seen him shake with nerves, we've seen him bury his head in his hands after a loss, we've seen him cry, but we've never seen him do this kind of thing before.
So he played bad and he's like hella frustrated, but I don't think I've ever seen anyone that mentally distraught in the middle of a series. He must be going through a lot.
Speculation began about what could have caused this reaction. Some people felt that it was no accident that it happened during the series against Gen.G.
I think the expectations when you're Faker versus like being like any other pro player is so high, so if you make like any sort of mistakes, especially if you throw like that, if you like misplay that emphatically, and it's against like your longtime rivals, like the guy you're always being compared against, so Chovy, Chovy's surpassing Faker.
But it's also important to remember the wider context here. T1 once again find themselves in a precarious situation where making playoffs is not a certainty by any means. No playoffs means no qualification for Worlds, and Faker would be unable to defend the trophy he won last year after so many years of heartache trying to get it.
His bare minimum is a world final or top 4 at Worlds. He's never failed to make top 4 at Worlds, ever. He's always made top 4 at Worlds at every World he's been to. So he's carrying more weight than any player, I think, in terms of expectations by miles.
Now, the pressure of winning and defending trophies is one thing, but 2024 has also seen Faker officially ascend into a League of Legends demigod after his induction into the new Hall of Legends. Riot received some criticism for only inducting Faker at the time. Halls of Fame in traditional sports often induct multiple inductees when they're founded. Riot's Hall of Legends currently only has Faker. Now, obviously, there's marketing reasons for that. Faker's name alone is able to draw the attention that Riot wanted in order to sell all the bundles and skins that came with the opening of the Hall of Legends, and perhaps they didn't want to dilute that. But from Faker's perspective, the result is that he now sits alone in this Hall of Fame, elevated above every teammate he's ever had, every opponent he's ever faced, every other player in history. history. He's had 3 new skins released for him in celebration of that, including the $500 signature immortalized legend Ari skin, and recently got his 4th world skin thanks to his title last year. In fact, it was noted that Faker himself has more skins than about a quarter of all League of Legends champions at this point. He really is in a league of his own. So is the weight of Faker's own success becoming a bit of a burden? How can he possibly live up to the expectations that weigh on him due to his unparalleled accomplishments? This is a year where he's a reigning world champion with 4 new skins in his honor and currently the only member of the Hall of Fame, but he now faces the very real potential of not making playoffs or worlds. It must be incredibly difficult for Faker to reconcile those 2 realities in his mind, and when he loses a game to a big rival at a crucial stage in the season, a game where he made some pretty uncharacteristic errors, those realities must hit him hard. Add to that the fact that Faker also caught COVID this week, and it's clear that he's been having a really hard time of it these past few weeks. But let's not pretend that things have been roses for the past few years either. In 2022, T1 lawyers on behalf of Faker sued deranged fans over hateful comments he'd been receiving. This time last year, he was out for weeks due to a hand and wrist injury for which he received physical therapy. And of course, earlier this year, he's had both his practice and stage games DDoSed to the point where he had to stop streaming and couldn't even scrim anymore. With all that on one hand and the pressure of Faker's achievements and Riot-endorsed adoration on the other, is it any wonder if the pressure may have reached concerning levels for him? Obviously, Faker is a professional competitor. A certain level of pressure comes with the territory, and he's no stranger to it. But everyone has their limits, and despite Faker's portrayal as a god among mortals, he is in fact only human. The reaction from a lot of people this week has been that they hope Faker and his teammates can get whatever rest is needed, but it's still the matter of these final few games. Despite how hard things have been, Faker will want more than anything to lock in playoffs and secure that world spot. Any talk of a much-earned break may have to wait until after.
Thanks for watching. If you want more content like this, hit the sub button and ring the notification bell. For unique, bite-sized videos you won't find anywhere else, hit us up on our Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok.